हरे जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधनं धन व्रज जन यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्राय जय सुदर्शन जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव श्री नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय गौर निताय जय गौर निताय जय पंचातत्वा जय पंचातत्वा पंचातत्वा जय पंचातत्वा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल प्रणाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की Hare Krishna. So the today's topic is the sole purpose of human life. So to get the essence of that, we are going to see the verse number 2.2.3 from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Second canto, second chapter, third verse. अतः कविर्नाम यावदर्थः अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः साध प्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः सिद्धिन्यतार्थेन यतेत तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः स्याध प्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः सिद्धेन्यतार्थेन यतेत तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः स्याध प्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः सिद्धेन्यतार्थेन यतेत तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः Anybody can read? व्यवसाय परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः सुयामदत्तः शाद प्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः सिद्धेन्यतार्थेन यतेत्र तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः शाद प्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः Okay, the translation. For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of the life, while in the world of names, he should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. The Bhagavata Dharma or the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam is perfectly distinct from the way of repetitive activities, which are considered by the devotees to be merely a waste of time. The whole universe, or for that matter, all material existence, is moving on a jagat, on as a jagat, simply for planning business to make one's position very comfortable or secure. Although everyone sees that this existence is neither comfortable nor secure and can never become comfortable or secure at any stage of development. Those who are captivated by the illusory advancement of material civilization are certainly madmen. The whole material creation is jugglery of names only. In fact, it is nothing but a bewildering creation of matter like earth, water, and fire. The buildings, the furniture, cars, bungalows, mills, factories, industries, peace, war, or even the highest perfection of the material science, namely atomic energy and electronics, are all simply bewildering names of the material elements which are concomitant reactions of three modes. Since the devotees of the Lord knows them perfectly well, he is not interested in creating unwanted things for a situation which is not at all reality, but simply names of the no more significance than the babble of sea waves. The great kings, leaders, and the soldiers fight with one another in order to perpetuate their names in the history. They are forgotten in due course of time, and they make a place for another era in the history. But the devotees realizes how much history and historical persons are useless products of flickering time. The fruitive workers aspires after a big fortune in the matter of wealth, women, and worldly adorations. But those who are fixed in perfect reality are not at all interested in such a false things. For them, it is all a waste of time. Since every second of human life is important, an enlightened man should be very careful to utilize time very cautiously. 1 second of human life wasted in the vain research of planning for happiness in the material world can never be replaced, even if one spends millions of coins of gold. Therefore, the transcendentalist desiring freedom from the clutches of Maya or the illusory activities of life is warned herewith not to be captivated by the external features of the fruitive actors. Human life is never meant for sense gratification, but for self realization. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs us solely on this subject from the very beginning to the end. Human life is simply meant for self realization. The civilization which aims at the utmost perfection never indulges in creating unwanted things. And such a perfection, civilization prepares men only to accept the bare necessities of the life or to follow the principles of the best use of a bad bargain. Our material bodies and our lives in that connection are bad bargains because the living entity is actually spirit. And the spiritual advancement of the living entity is absolutely necessary. Human life is intended for the realization of this important factor, and one should act accordingly, accepting only the bare necessities of the life and depending more on the God's gift without diversion of human energy for any other purposes, such as being mad for material enjoyment. The materialistic advancement of civilization is called the civilization of the demons, which ultimately ends in the war and scarcity. The transcendentalist is specifically warned herewith to be fixed in mind, so that even if there is difficulty in the plain living and high thinking, he will not budge even an inch from his stark determination. For a transcendentalist, it is a suicidal policy to be intimately in touch with the sense gratification gratifiers of the world, because such a policy will frustrate the ultimate gain of the life. Sukadeva Goswami met Maharaj Parikshit when the latter felt a necessity for such a meeting. It is the duty of transcendentalists to help persons who desire real salvation and to support the cause of salvation. One might note that the Sukadeva Goswami never met Parikshit Maharaj while he was ruling as a great king. For a transcendentalist, the mode of activities is explained in the next verse. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते उपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you very much for all of you attending this session today. So, the verse essence is the sole purpose of the human life. If you understand the context of this verse, basically Sukadeva Goswami was explaining to Parikshit Maharaj for the question that he asked in the first canto. So he asked around 6 questions, out of which one question was, what should a person about to die should do? This is a very important question. Generally, we don't ask such questions because we don't expect death, right? Because death is inevitable. But everyone should know what should a person do at the time of death. This is very, very important question. So while Sukadeva Goswami explaining all this, he was telling that a person should progress spiritually. There are many ways to progress spiritually. So he was telling about a yogi who actually does meditation on Paramatma and then he get the liberation. This is the concept. So if you understand a person before he concentrate on meditating on a Paramatma form, there are so many stages. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, then Samadhi. These are all Ashtanga yogas, different angas. So one cannot easily get such a concentration to focus on Paramatma. It's not that easy. It requires a lot of sadhana. It requires a lot of time. And he should be completely detached. Pratyahara stage is that. So all other stages, Yama, Niyama, all these things are rules and regulations for an yogi. So once we follow all the rules and regulations, then we start sitting in the posture where we will not get disturbed and we can meditate on the object of meditation. So then pranayama, it's a breathing control. So which will help us, uh, focus on certain object that we want to meditate upon. Then dharana. This is the important stage, dharana. In the stage of dharana, we will actually decide on what object we should meditate upon. So Shukadeva Goswami says the ultimate purpose of this particular Ashtanga Yoga is to meditate on Paramatma. But it is not that easy for someone to get focus or concentration to meditate on Paramatma. So what he says is, if you are not able to fix your mind on Paramatma, you meditate upon the universal form of the Lord. Meditating on the universal form of the Lord is not an advanced yogi does. A neophyte yogi will meditate on the universal form of the Lord. Why one has to meditate on the universal form of the Lord? Because universal form contains everything which is there in this universe. So whatever you are seeing in this material universe, you will relate with Lord if you start meditating on the universal form. So you don't see anything away from Krishna. You don't see anything which is not related to Krishna. When you start meditating on the universal form, then you will understand the greatness of Krishna. Then you will start developing the faith on Krishna. Then you will be able to concentrate on Krishna. This is the purpose. So in a yogi, if he meditate on the universal form for quite some time, then once he develop the faith, then he can start meditating. Let's say while you are meditating also, again you are, losing your concentration, and again you are thinking about material desires or the material thoughts you are getting. Again you change your object of meditation. Again you come back to um, universal form meditation. Okay, this is what he was explaining in the first chapter of second canto. So let us say if a person leaves his body before he start meditating on the actual object of the meditation, then what will happen? He will take birth in the upper planetary system, or he will take birth in the Brahmin's family, or he might take birth in the aristocratic family, and he will start sadhana from there. So while telling this, Shukadeva Goswami was more concerned about people getting attached to the mystic powers than one may get during this process. The meditation, the ultimate goal of the meditation is the salvation, right? But during this process, before you get liberation, you may get mystic powers. And these mystic powers will divert us from our goal, right? So that's why Shukadeva Goswami was very careful and cautious about telling that don't get attached to these uh, you know uh, mystic powers. And these are the byproducts of what actually you want to get. That's why in the previous verse also, if you see a person who is attached to the sense gratification, the mystic powers are used for the sense gratification generally. Okay, whatever the additional powers that I have, I will use that in enjoying the best, right? So if one has a knowledge, if one has energy, if one has willpower, if one has everything that he can do, what will he do? He will do the sense gratification to the best. So this is what we do. So that is not the purpose of the process that yogi is following. So you should not get diverted from your path. That's why Shukadeva Goswami was telling this. So generally, if we want to ask a question to all of you, what for we are working? What for we are spending our time? In a day, 24 hours, we are spending our time for certain reasons, certain purposes. What is that purpose? In general, if I ask, then what will be the answer? For sense gratification, and for happiness, and for the comforts of the life, and for the safety. This is what generally a person endeavor for. Maybe we might be thinking that, if I earn some 10 crores, I'll be happy in my life and I can get everything what I want and I don't need to be worried for anything. This might be the thinking of a person, and I'll be free from all types of um, distresses. There are so many people who earned already more than 10 crores, right? There are people who earned 100 crores. There are people who are in the top, billionaires list. If you get a chance to go to them and ask, are you happy? Are you comfortable? What will his answer be? No one in this material universe are happy, comfortable. They are always getting the pain in this material universe. Generally, what we are all supposed to get. We might be thinking that we are happy, but the fact is, the happiness that we are feeling is the break between two unhappinesses. The break time between two distresses, situations that we have. So the real happiness is not something that we can search in this material universe, because there is no one in this material world is happy. Then where is our effort going? Where is our time going? A lot of time we are investing in getting the happiness, which is quite impossible to get in this material world. So are we not wasting our time? The Prabhupada is telling in this purport also, every second is valuable. The 1 second that you lost in your life, you cannot get it back even if you spend millions of gold coins. Right? The worth of each second is that much. You can't get it back once you lose it. So a wise person, a transcendentalist, will not waste time in sense gratification. For example, a person who is traveling and he has to travel for almost 100 kilometers, let us say, and he started journey with one step. While he is traveling, he found some stones on the path which are beautiful, and he started collecting the stones. and he's putting all the stones in his backpack. And after he walked for 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers, his backpack was full of all the stones. Somebody asked, "Why are you collecting all these stones?" The person said, "These stones look very beautiful. It may be useful for me in my future. So I am collecting." Then he started his journey, continued his journey with the stones bag. How far he can walk? He will collapse after some time. So he forgets the destination that he want to reach. So these stones are also like the sense gratification, the desires, the material enjoyments that we have in our journey. So we don't have to put a lot of pressure in ourselves or an endeavor to get these enjoyments. We are not putting effort to get distress, right? Are we putting effort to get distress? How many of you? I want to be suffering. I want suffering. How many of you want to be suffering? But are you not suffering? We are suffering. We are suffering. We are not able to find out the solution for the sufferings that we have. So without effort, if we are suffering, why should we put an effort to be enjoying? Right? So the enjoyments are also going to come just like how we get the sufferings. Krishna has defined this material world as the suffering world, the Kalayam. He mentioned, Krishna said, I created this universe, and the name of this universe is Dukhalayam. So in Dukhalayam, we can only get Dukha. So if we are really forgetting about this fact and trying to think that we can get Sukha, happiness, which is not possible, you have to go to somewhere else to get that Sukha. That means we are searching in a wrong place for a right thing. Right? So we have to search in a right place. So you need to understand what is the right place. Where should we go? What should we do? How should we spend our time? How should we use our effort so that the happiness is going to be forever? That we get is going to be forever. So nothing in this material world is permanent. Just like a sand castle. A child in the beach creates a sand castle and he decorates it beautifully. He makes it. In an hour or so, a wave comes and washes everything. Just like the same way, whatever the positions that we get, whatever the accomplishments that we have, whatever the qualifications that we get, everything will get washed at one day. The moment when you lose your body, nothing is going to be yours. The designations that you have, the relations that you have, the strength that you have, the position that you have, the name that you have, the fame that you have, everything is lost. And you have to create the whole legacy once again from the scratch. You may be having a great degrees, everything will be lost. So where will this go? Where will you go once we lose this body? What will happen to all our accomplishments? All like a sandcastle. It goes. It goes. But we are not understanding this fact and we are striving for enjoying to the best. So Prabhupada used to explain one, about the liquid beauty. All of you are aware the liquid beauty? Yeah. As a king, he wants to enjoy a girl who is beautiful. He went and asked that girl, be with me. I want your association. I want to enjoy with you. Then the girl said, come after 1 week. Your desire will be fulfilled. Then in that 1 week, she has taken a medicine to vomit and to pass the stool. Motions. And the whole vomit and the motion was collected in a pot. And after a week, king came. He could not recognize that girl because she was ugly now. The girl who was beautiful a week back, she looked very ugly now because she lost her beauty. Then he asked, where is that girl whom I want to enjoy? And that girl said, I am the one. Where is your beauty? My beauty is there in that pot. So the beauty that we are thinking that we want to enjoy is temporary. It's of a skin which is made of the earth, water, and fire. We all are different people looking because we all have been given different bodies. But the fact is, everyone's body is made of the same material, differently visible. And in the same way, when you take birth, and your designation is you are a son of parents, right? Then the designations keep changing. After some time, you start depending on your parents. Then after some time, you will get your brothers, sisters, then friends. Then your identity will keep changing from time to time. And you will think that my responsibility is to take care of my younger, brothers. Then after some time, when you grow and then you start working, then your responsibilities change. Then you think, till the time I am depending on my parents, now it's a time for me to give protection to my parents, and my parents should depend on me. So the responsibility that you felt at the time when you are a child is different from the responsibility when you are at a young age. Then as you grow, you get married, your responsibilities changes, your designation changes. You become a husband for one lady. And for some time you think that my responsibility is to take care of my wife. Then after some time, some years, then you get children. Then your priorities changes, your designation changes, your responsibilities changes. Your responsibility is to take care of your children, right? Then as you keep growing, your responsibilities changes, your position changes, your role changes, your name changes. That's why Prabhupada is telling in this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is telling, this world is a name world, world of names, world of names. Today son, tomorrow brother, day after tomorrow husband, after that I am a father, later I am a boss, later I am something else, right? And we will be ignored after some time and we will lose the body. And nothing that we have been, taking care of till now are going to be our responsibilities, right? We need to understand this fact. So we should not misuse the time that is given to us by, God. God has given us human life, right? Human life is not meant for only sense gratification. Human life is meant for self realization. Human life is meant for understanding your eternal position, constitutional position. Human life is meant for doing a sadhana which will help you to achieve your constitutional position, not to get attached to the intermittent designations that we are going to have. So, so we are actually working hard and hard. And if that hard work is not helping you to connect with Supreme Lord, then that work is going to be hard labor. That work is going to be hard labor. So we just should not do a hard labor for nothing. Because any activity that you do should be at a soul level, not at a body level. Now we understand that the body is temporary. And the relations with this body are temporary. The positions that body has are temporary. One day or other, we are going to lose. So the duty, what is our duty then? What should we do then? Should we not work? So we have to work, we have to earn, which is necessary for keeping up this body, not to, to the maximum extent that to exploit the material nature. You work hard to ensure that you are in this body and you are able to perform the devotional service. That is the purpose of hard work. That's why Sukadeva Goswami was telling, live simple, but think high. As much as possible, reduce your necessities and work for the bare minimum necessities. And once our necessities are fulfilled, then the rest of the time should be used in the practice of bhakti. And the time that you are spending in bhakti is not getting wasted. That is the valuable time that we are using effectively. Because the results that we are going to get by doing such engagement in the free time that we are having is the eternal result. We are not going to lose that result with our body. Right? The chanting that we are doing, the japa that we are doing, the Mangalarti that we did, the dance that we did now, and the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is all the time that we are using effectively, and the result that we are going to get is eternal. It's not going to be destroyed with time. Time is going to kill everything, but it cannot kill the spiritual benefits that we are getting. Okay? Because soul is by nature, it is a spirit. It's not material. So the material benefits that we are getting, the material achievements that we are getting are meant for only the body, which is temporary. So we need to do something for our soul. So that soul realization, the self-realization. So we need to ask ourselves, why am I in this material world? We need to ask ourselves, why am I suffering? These are the questions that we should ask. Who am I? Why am I in this material world? Why am I suffering? And where will I go if I leave this material body? These are the questions that we should ask. And these are the questions will help us to get the higher purpose of our life. If we don't ask this question and we keep enjoying, thinking that enjoyment is only the purpose of our life, we will lose the whole purpose. Right? We will again take birth and death, and we will take degraded bodies. We may not get a human body once again. Getting human body is not that easy. Right? Human body is not that easy. After getting so many lakhs of bodies, we get human body. And such a precious, important body. So we should not lose it. But what are we doing? We are walking like a donkey. Right? We are walking like a donkey. A donkey was working hard labor, was questioned. Why are you working like that? What do you want? You want a grass, right? Why are you working so hard, carrying so much of weights? No. My owner, one day, he was scolding his daughter. If you are not spending your time rightly, or if you are wasting your time, or if you don't achieve what you are supposed to achieve, then I will make you marry to this donkey. Okay, that is the motivation for me to work hard for my owner. One day or other, he will give his daughter to me. That's why I'm working. Okay, so we all have some or other motivations to work, right? But that will never happen. That will never happen. The owner can never give his daughter to the donkey. So in the same way, the motivations that we have are real or not. Can we achieve that or not? By achieving that, are we going to get ultimate purpose solved or not? Or is it also going to be a pebble which we are carrying in our backpack? We just need to question ourselves. Okay, so we need to avoid such desires, and we need to understand what is bare minimum. That's why in this whole verse, the essence of the whole verse is work for the bare minimum necessities, not beyond that. Okay, so if you are working beyond that, you are wasting your time, and it's all going to become a hard labor. So the important thing is that we need a good association, the right association. If you don't have a right association, you will engage in these kind of sense gratification. And this is our age where we get all types of associations, right? We need to be choosy whom to be associated with, whom not to be associated with. How do we spend time? How do we not spend time? This is something that we need to understand. A transcendentalist will not waste time, even a second. Even a second, he will not waste time. Shukadeva Goswami was a transcendentalist. He was a pure devotee. He never met Parikshit Maharaj in the past while he was ruling the kingdom. Parikshit Maharaj was ruling the kingdom. But when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, then what did Parikshit Maharaj do? Parikshit Maharaj, what did he do? Did he start investing all his money in some of the shares or somewhere? Or did he, start writing a will for his next generation? Or did he start enjoying so that this is the last moments of our life we should enjoy to the best? Eat ice cream before it melts. And eat ice cream before it melts. That is the concept of Parikshit Maharaj? No. The moment when he came to know that he is going to die in 7 days, he gave up all his kingdom. He gave up his family. And he was searching for a right association. And what should he do? Then Sukadeva Goswami, he himself came and met Parikshit Maharaj. Sukadeva Goswami could have met Parikshit Maharaj in the past also, but he did not meet because he does not want that association. Parikshit Maharaj's association when he was ruling the kingdom is not necessary for Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami felt it is necessary to meet Parikshit Maharaj when he was about to die. What for? What for? So that he will spend some time spiritually with Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj also will get benefited with that association. So sometimes we take association so that we get benefited. And people, pure devotees, give association to us so that we get benefited. If you are a pure devotee, you give association to somebody who will get benefited with your association. That is also our responsibility. That's why Parivrajakacharyas like Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He is not required to associate with any materialistic people, fallen people. He was staying in Vrindavan. He could have spent his whole retired life spiritually with sadhus in the association of Krishna Balaram, in the association of pure devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees. But what did he do? He chose to give up all these associations and he went to US to give association to fallen people so that the fallen people get purified. Okay, such an association is very, very important. If you are associating with the pure devotees, a movement, that is the valuable time that you are giving in your life. Okay, so the sole purpose of the life is needs to be understood, and it is not meant for sense gratification, which is meant for self realization, and you give your time for that purpose. You associate and be in Krishna consciousness. If you are in Krishna consciousness, that is the only path, that is the only way that you can pursue your purpose. There's no other way. There's no other way. Because Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. There are a lot of cantos, lot of chapters talking about so many pastimes of Lord, talking about the pastimes of devotees, is helping us understand how we should behave, how should we should act in this material world. Okay, this is what we should learn. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the uh, best activity that we are doing in our life. So early morning, getting up and doing all this sadhana, whatever you are doing, is the best thing that we are doing. And the rest of the time you spend for fulfilling your bare minimum necessities, right? So if you go to the next verse, actually the next verse is going. Sukadeva Goswami is going to talk of how we should live, but that is not meant for us. Okay, that's not meant for us. He says, why do you need a pillow if you have your hand to sleep? Why do you need a double cot bed if you can sleep on the floor, or if you can? Why do you need great you know amenities that we have when you can live without those amenities also? Okay, but certain things can be solved without even getting them. So we need to understand: is it really required or not? Is it really going to help us progress spiritually or not? Before you take any decision of buying anything, saying anything, doing anything, even the words that you are speaking should be very choosy, because anything that you are doing, anything that you are speaking may not be helpful for you to achieve the higher purpose. So, so, so a person who want to advance spiritually should question himself: am I spending every second for a right purpose or not? Am I spending every activity that I am doing is for a right purpose or not? So we should be doing that. Okay. So Parikshit Maharaj is the best example for us. He is a pure devotee, and he spent his whole time in serving the Lord as a king. Then when the time comes to leave his body, it is a boon actually to know when you are going to die. Right? Parikshit Maharaj has such boon. So he has rightly utilized. So we don't have such boon. So we should be prepared for death every minute. Not like Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is a blessed person. Okay. So you should think that, am I ready now if Krishna takes my body at this moment? Okay. Am I prepared to leave my body in the next minute, next moment? That's how we should spend our life. Okay. If your answer is that, I am not ready, then it's time for us to be, more cautious of how you are spending. So every minute we should question ourselves: am I ready? Am I ready? Because death can happen any moment. Death can happen any moment. So just like how Parikshit Maharaj is spending, we should spend time. So death, because Parikshit Maharaj knows he is spending. So the important thing is to purify our consciousness at the time of death. At the time of death, if your consciousness is not purified and if your consciousness is contaminated, then the whole purpose of the life is lost. So the purification has to happen from now, right? So we have to start working towards purifying our consciousness. Otherwise, you don't remember Krishna at the time of death. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, whatever the thoughts that you have at the time of death, you will get that life in the next body. If you're thinking about a girl, you will become a girl. Okay. If you're thinking about money, you will become a rat or a snake or a dog. Okay. So the consciousness should be purified. The purification means what? You should be able to think Krishna always. You should be able to see Krishna everywhere. You should be able to relate everything with Krishna. That is the meaning of this material world. That's why Yogi was told to meditate upon the universal form so that he will realize that everything is Krishna. There is nothing else without Krishna. Yes, Krishna only told. There are many universes in this material world. There are many universes. All these material universes are made of earth, fire, and water. Right? So it may be having a different shape, it may be having a different qualities, different characteristics, but at the end it is made of same elements. So we should not get bewildered with the varieties that we are seeing in this material world. That's why um, a wood, let us say a wood, if you take a wood piece, if you don't carve it to be like a door or a window or something else, it is a wood. The same wood can be carved as a door or a window or anything. A brick is a brick. If you can construct that brick with a temple, you can construct a temple with a brick, or you can construct a house with a brick. But we don't call them as a brick, right? We don't call this as a bricks. We call it as a temple. When you construct the house with the same brick, we call that as a house. The raw material, the elements are same, but the names, once you form it into different shapes, the names are changed. That's why we call this material universe as a world of names. World of names. So we need to understand that this all is made of the basic elements. Maybe you take a lump of mud and then create different uh, what you call the toys. Okay, each toy look different, but everything is made from the mud. Right? We all are like that. So, but we all are not that body that we are seeing. We all are spirit souls. We are part and parcel of Lord Krishna, and we are the servants of Lord Krishna. We need to understand our eternal position and work hard work for that, for achieving that purpose. So that is the purpose of this particular verse. I will end the session here. I would open it for question and answers, if anything. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Sir, what is the difference between soul and the consciousness?
The consciousness, if you have a consciousness, that means the soul exists. The characteristics of the soul is the consciousness. Soul is different from consciousness. The characteristics of the soul is the consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Krishna explains the characteristics of soul. Okay? So Krishna explains the characteristics of soul. Yeah. So let's say I pinch you. So the consciousness is that you get pain. The pain you are getting because the soul is in your body. If you don't have soul, even if I pinch, you don't feel that pain.
Soul is more important than consciousness.
Yeah, soul's consciousness has to be purified.
Soul is more important.
Yes, soul is more important. Consciousness may be contaminated. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Universal form is imaginary, right? Yeah, yeah. Very good. So basically, there is no universal form. It's an imaginary form. How we imagine is like Krishna said, I created this material world. And everything in this material world is part and parcel of my body. Devi Devatas, the human being, everything that you can see, the animals, everything that you can see is a part of human body, part of the body. So Krishna is not a material. Krishna is not having any material. He is not a material. He is a spiritual. So this whole universe we consider it as a material body of Krishna. You understand? So Krishna entered into this material world, right? as Paramatma. Krishna entered into this material body as Paramatma. We enter into this body. So this body, we identify this body as ourself. Krishna entered into this material body. So the material nature. So the whole material nature is the body of Krishna. So if you imagine that and you relate everything with Krishna, that is, say, you have a taste because Krishna wanted to taste. You are eating because Krishna is hungry. Right? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have a tongue to speak because Krishna has tongue to speak. We have ears to hear because Krishna has ears to hear. So then in this whole universe, everybody's ears together is the ear of Krishna. Everybody's tongue together is the tongue of Krishna. So if you think that whatever the body parts that you have are the parts of the Krishna, then you think that this is not me. Whatever I'm eating, whatever I'm enjoying, I'm indirectly feeding to Krishna. I'm giving to Krishna. You go and eat non-veg. You should think that this tongue is not mine. This is Krishna's body part. That means I'm keeping non-veg on the tongue of Krishna. Then will you be able to do that? You will not be able to do that. So we are basically trying to purify our consciousness and thinking everything in relation with Krishna so that we develop a faith so that we can worship Krishna. So starting stage of the devotion, you don't develop the faith on Krishna. When you look at the deity of the Krishna, you don't understand his greatness. Right? So you think universe, the nature is the great. Right? The nature is great. Nature has so many varieties. Nature giving everything to us. So nature is great. So then when we understand this knowledge, right? Then we see that the nature is also because of Krishna. Then we develop faith on Krishna. Then we actually get attachment to this form of Krishna. Otherwise, we don't get attachment to this form of Krishna. That's why Krishna has given every knowledge, everything in Bhagavad Gita, that he says that I am everything, I am everywhere. But we need to realize that. We need to realize that. Okay. Yes, it is imaginary form, and there is nothing wrong in meditating on that imaginary form. And it is prescribed. Okay, that will help you to develop bhakti for Krishna. Okay, devotional service. Then only you will accept his name. Then only he will accept his form. Right? Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, there are so many examples. Shobhar Muni and Vishwamitra. These are all the great yogis. They did tapasya for so many years, thousands of years. Okay. Shobhar Muni went in under the water to do tapasya. Okay. He has seen two fishes mating. Then he got a desire. With the mystic power that he has, he became an young boy. And he went to a king and asked to give his daughter to marry. So with the mystic power only he did. He misused. The purpose of his meditation is not to get married to a king's daughter and not to, become a family man. But he became Vishwamitra. He was a great yogi. Okay, the purpose of meditation is not for him to get, involved in, huh? No, involved in sense gratification. Okay, while he was doing meditation, he has seen Menaka. Menaka, not Menaka Gandhi. Okay, he has seen Menaka, and then he got attracted to Menaka. Then he got into the Grihastha life. Right? The mystic powers got misused. Sense gratification. Ravanasur. Best example is Ravanasur. Ravanasura has a lot of mystic powers. He has done a lot of years of tapasya and he got mystic powers. And he can even control the planets. He can order a Varunadev and say that rain now. And the Varunadev will be shivering and raining. Indra, Chandra, everybody he can order. And he can, bind all of them. And with that mystic powers that he has, he misused for sense gratification. He wants Sita Devi. He does not want Rama. So he brought Lakshmi. For Lakshmi, we are also, right? We are also putting in effort for getting Lakshmi. But we don't want Krishna. Right? We are all Ravanasurs. If we are doing that. So Ravanasura has a lot of power. He misused that power in getting Lakshmi, not Krishna. So the mystic powers got wasted. Whether you do for self-realization or not, for self-realization, you will get mystic powers. If you are really focusing on one object. Okay, you do tapasya for 20,000 years, you will also get mystic power. That is the byproduct. Everybody will get mystic power. Shobharmuni. Shobharmuni's purpose for starting to tapasya was not getting the mystic powers. Vishwamitra was also not meant for doing tapasya, or not meant for mystic powers, but he got mystic powers, and those mystic powers are misused later. Huh? I don't know who is Mira. Okay. पता नहीं है मुझे. I don't know. No idea of Mira. Mira Bhai is a great devotee, right?